Hello Internet, I'm your only mate, and it's time for a new episode of Death Battle. This time we have Martian Manhunter versus the Silver Surfer. Now, as I should say with all my reaction videos, please click the link in the description to go watch the actual episode itself before watching mine or anyone's reactions. Don't be a dick, support the official release. Okay, so how do I know these characters? Martian Manhunter, not as well. And that's going to say a lot in a minute. I remember watching the Justice League cartoon when I was really rather young. I don't remember a whole lot of it, aside from thinking that the Flash was my favourite. And that kind of helped lead to super speed becoming my favourite superpower, along with Sonic the Hedgehog. And that was a big reason why I like speed anyway, but anyway. So, I'm nowhere near as familiar with Martian Manhunter. As for Silver Surfer, my introduction to him was Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Yeah. The only other thing I could say about really knowing him in any way is the Lego Marvel game. That's about it, so I'm going into this in the dark, though I have heard some things, particularly feats that both Billy and Sean brought up on Let's Discuss Death Battle, shameless plug. Honestly, at the moment, I'm thinking Silver Surfer's gonna win, just based on what I know. But I don't know if I would be surprised if Martian Manhunter does end up winning. But then again, comic books are comic books, so yeah, these two are gonna be crazy to wrap my head around. And that's not even getting into that next time. Foreshadowing. Yeah, I'm just gonna put these on, shut up and hit play. Wow, 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 wow. Well, it's the very first time they used a new logo.
Martian Manhunter, DC's Space Ranger.
The Silver Surfer, Marvel's sentinel of the spaceways.
The depths of space hold secrets beyond our comprehension.
Audio sounds a bit weird.
Sage superheroes have seen more of it than any of us could ever hope to.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor,
okay,
and
now
skills to find out who would win.
Wait, hold on.
Battle.
Okay, I've seen the preview on Death Battle Cast, so yeah, I think I know what they were going at with the intro.
The night sky. The stars have
Few people in the comments telling me what it is, despite me saying in the video I got it.
Endless wonders.
Like Dr. Saul Erdell, who's kind of a doctor in the same way Dr. Pepper is a doctor. This guy's got no formal education, but that didn't stop him from messing around with some ancient tech he stumbled upon.
That's like me with editing.
About his boyhood dreams of exploring the cosmos. So with the tech's advanced
Seriously, no one taught me how. I've winged this whole channel.
To him.
He pointed the machine at Mars, pushed a button, and hoped for the best. And it worked. Erdell summoned a real-life Martian right before his very eyes. So remember, kids, when in doubt, just push buttons. Never fails.
The mysterious and
great use of
powerful
Dexter's
alien known
lab.
as John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, immediately started using his incredible powers in front of the Doctor, like mind reading and shape-shifting.
Which was just the tip of Erdell's discoveries. Turns out, Martians have complete control over their bodies and can transform into practically anything, like a freaking dragon, an exact duplicate of Wonder Woman down to her central nervous system, or even a totally generic green monster that loves choco cookies.
They can
and totally doesn't look
lasers
like the
from
Hulk.
their eyes, fire psionic blasts, turn invisible, and phase through anything. Even Green Lantern constructs and force fields that Superman couldn't get through.
On top of all that, they've got a crazy healing factor. John has regenerated back from a single limb, tiny pieces, or even a puddle of goo.
This display of awe-inspiring power overwhelmed Dr. Erdell's poor human heart and caused him to die in the Martian's arms.
Damn! Well, at least he accomplished his goal before he bit the red dust, right? Anyway, John used his shape-shifting
That's something, I suppose.
to hide amongst his new world by assuming the identity of a recently deceased detective named John Jones. God, what a crazy coincidence. Comic
Regular human name.
Clever man.
Detective John Jones lived a double life on Earth for many years, solving cases and helping as many people as he could.
Likes choco cookies a lot.
Stepped out, revealing himself to the world and helped.
Why isn't he in the upcoming Ruby Justice League movie?
John definitely holds his own in the supergroup. He once pulled
There's
the Earth
potential
alongside
there, I'm just
Wonder Woman
saying.
and Superman, who has stated that of all the beings in the known universe, he would be afraid to fight John.
And he should be afraid.
Oof.
Superman wouldn't be the first Kryptonian John has gone toe-to-toe with. He's manhandled Ultraman, who's basically evil Superman from another universe, and Superboy Prime.
That's
who
what
can
Ultraman
shatter
is?
reality with his punches, and is also evil Superman from another universe.
He took a blast from Asmodel, the
They do that a lot, don't
king
they?
of the literal army of heaven. He's held his own against Darkseid, the manifestation of tyranny in the DC universe. And he's fast enough to catch up to Supergirl and Superman, who we know flies so fast he can burst the bonds of infinity.
Okay,
Basically,
so
he's just as strong and just as fast as a bunch of crazy gods and demons.
While Jean's strength and speed are obviously very
infinite
impressive, it's also no
speed
secret that his
and
greatest asset
multiversal
is his
power.
mind. He's one of the
If
most
not higher.
powerful telepaths in all of the DC universe.
He reads minds, duh, but he can also shut them down altogether. And he once made Mr. Plexiglass, Mr. Mixed Pickles, fuck your name, that's what. He got him to subconsciously say his own name backwards, which God only knows because I can't say it forwards, which canceled out his powers.
His psychic defenses were strong enough to protect the Justice League against a worldwide telepathic attack, and his ability to sense people's feelings is so strong, he can feel every sentient being in the entire galaxy.
And he once outthought Perpetua from the Omniverse. Who's that, you ask? Oh, just the frickin' creator of the entire multiverse. She's basically the god of everything.
Jean needed to connect his consciousness with everyone on Earth
Good
before
God.
people could catch up.
Literally.
He pulled this off by using his mental abilities within the span of Planck time. Literally the
Oh, there it
smallest
is again.
possible measurement of time. In the time it takes you to count to 1, Jean could count to 1 and fly across the universe and back over 200 sextillion times.
He's
Jesus
outthought
Christ.
God. He's a faster thinker than God. And it didn't end there. John took a punch from her and walked away with just a bloody nose. And when she disintegrated him into basically nothing, he regenerated back from a hit from God.
Batman has said that in order to kill Jean for good, you would have to literally destroy every single atom in his body.
I only just realized they had
one by
the
one.
feats card before the powers
If I
card.
didn't
They
love
don't usually do
alliteration
that.
so much, I'd say we change this guy's name to Martian God Hunter or something. He's basically invincible,
That
right?
Not
sounds
quite.
cooler.
Jean is not without weakness. He has a very real vulnerability to fire. At times,
Yeah,
it's
fire is
completely
everyone's
out of
weakness.
the
It's
point
fucking
where he
fire.
loses control of his body.
And not just literal fire either. John was once tricked into just thinking he was surrounded by fire, and that was enough for him.
Even still,
Ouch.
Jean has been able to overcome this weakness. He's fought enemies with fire abilities and even taken hits from fire attacks.
Yeah, I've heard
Which
about
leads me to
that.
believe the weakness, while potent and still able to cause real physical harm, is mainly psychosomatic. What are you doing?
I heard what you said. Weakness to fire is just in your head.
Boomstick.
I'll be a living god! Another win in the mind column for sure. And to think there's a whole planet of these guys out there.
Unfortunately, that's no longer the case. Before Dr.
Yeah,
Erdel's
he's the
strange
last
experiment,
Martian.
Jean's own brother used the Martians' telepathic connection to each other against them, and the entire planet was plagued with Ronmir's curse.
As long as they stayed telepathically connected, every Martian was vulnerable to a mental fire that would overwhelm them and burn them from the inside out.
Which sadly works very well.
Fucking
because the
hell.
fear of fire is something Jean shares with his fellow Martians. Centuries earlier, the Guardians of the Universe, a group of immortal aliens who run the Green Lantern Corps, feared that the Martian race could become too strong. So they programmed the Martians with that genetic weakness to fire.
John was able to survive the fiery curse by cutting off his mental connection to his people, including his family. Unfortunately, his wife, Myria,
That's-
and their daughter couldn't live with the isolation, and he had no choice but to watch them give in and burn alive.
Oh my
Damn.
god.
Grief and survivor's guilt, Jean was left to wander his homeworld all alone. His only solace being shape-shifting into his lost loved ones to convince himself they were still alive.
Oh my god!
That's-
Jesus, John! That is so sad.
That pain has undoubtedly shaped who Jean is. In fact, the trauma he held onto so tightly formed a literal spiritual connection with those lost souls. A telepathic connection so strong, it kept them from finding peace in an afterlife. Let me say that again. His grief and telepathy were so strong, he prevented an entire race of people from moving on to the afterlife.
It wasn't until years later that John could return to Mars and
Who wrote this?
by finally letting go. And not to forget them, but to embrace his new life and his new home. A place he would defend time and time again to make sure the Earth never suffers a fate similar to Mars.
To experience all of that, to truly know what it feels like to be alone in the vast universe, but continue to use your wisdom and power to help those in need, is what makes the Martian Manhunter such a noble hero.
On a planet packed with other incredible heroes, John really has set himself apart. He's risen through the ashes and emerged the heart and soul of the Justice League.
Alright, that was a nice way of ending his analysis.
Zen-La, a virtual
Alright, what you got, Silver Surfer?
any and all crime, poverty.
You got a lot to stack up to.
Norman Rad, which I've got to say is the sickest, most radical name I have ever heard in my entire life. He was a brainy kid who was raised to live a life of reason and intellect over one of gnarly adventure.
That is, until the technologically advanced society came under threat from the devourer of worlds, Galactus.
So Norrin's
Him versus Unicron, when?
in exchange for sparing his planet, Mr. Red offered to leave his home behind, become Galactus's herald, and seek out new planets for him to scarf down.
And once Galactus agreed to the deal, he imbued
That's a
his new
fucked
herald
existence.
with the power cosmic, transforming him into the Silver
I
Surfer.
mean, yeah, you become incredibly powerful
Tubular name. 2 for 2. Wow,
and look
you
like this,
really see it.
The power
but
cosmic grants the Surfer
you basically go to planets and just tell them, you're about to die.
Phasing, super strength, speed, and invulnerability, just to name a few.
The Surfers basically got all of Galactus'
That's a
space
lot of
magic,
aliases.
just on a smaller scale. And Galactus uses that power to fight guys like the In-Betweener, an abstract being from the overspace.
The Surfer used
Sorry, if you're
power
British, you know why that
Galactus
name's funny.
diligently for nearly 100 years, during which he ensured that the planets consumed were devoid of sentient life.
That is, until the Surfer accidentally offered up a planet with life, which drove him crazy with guilt.
Oops.
So Galactus tried his best to suppress the Surfer's emotions, erase the painful memories, and make it easier for him to find planets with tasty, delicious life, guilt-free.
That is
How nice of
messed.
him.
And it worked for a while until the Surfer reached Earth. Galactus's mighty mind manipulation wasn't enough to bury the Surfer's true nature for good. With the help of Alicia Masters and the Fantastic Four, the Surfer turned against his overlord and saved the Earth from being eaten.
But even after all that, Galactus just let the Surfer keep his powers. At any point, he could have just taken them back.
Being the source of the
That's
Surfer's
a
powers, yes, he could.
weird choice.
But Galactus has continued to let the Surfer have the power cosmic out of respect for his first herald.
Damn. See, that's
Oh.
the kind of respect I'm asking from you. Anyway, ever since those mental gymnastics with Galactus, the Surfer made sure nothing like that would ever happen again.
And he's been successful, like when Psycho Man failed to trick the Surfer with his illusions, or when he was briefly trapped in the Supreme Intelligence's mind when it was using the Mind Stone.
With some of those mental threats behind
Okay.
you could finally take to the spaceways,
That-
kick ass, and monologue about the meaning of life in the universe.
All of which
The animation of his leg.
Especially that last one. It's thanks to the abilities afforded to him through all that cosmic energy.
It's seriously crazy. He can rearrange the molecules of anything he wants into anything he wants. He can force you to just feel
Well,
pain
that's
in
gonna be
general.
handy.
And he can even control elements, not just earth, wind, and fire, but anything in a boogie wonderland like gravity and the
I'm
weather.
amazed you
And
didn't
the
say
power
hot.
and energy inside him
How
that
far
he
you've
once
come.
created an infant star to serve as a new light source in a universe devoid of light.
So just when he needed it, he was able to pop out a baby son? That's convenient.
That's the power cosmic.
But we can't forget about the
It's the power cosmic. I ain't gonna explain shit.
This thing's basically an extension of
If that
himself.
fan art
He
doesn't
can
exist, I'm gonna be
transform it
mad.
into a sweet sword or into pure cosmic energy. And if it breaks, he can just form a new one.
On his board, the Surfer
Well, that's
has traveled
convenient.
at incalculable speeds on multiple occasions. He can fly fast.
Okay, so he's got that too.
Even once flew so fast, he reached the future.
Even without his board, he once broke free from energy shackles that would zap away his power within the next nanosecond. Gnarly, brah. He once surfed a wave of universal destruction. He had to surf out of all of existence as it was being torn apart. Now, I've seen some choice waves in my day, but if you ask me, that's
Props to you, Chad.
on the beach with
hitting it real hard with all this surfing lingo. He's honestly not that kind of guy at all.
Righteously disagree with you, dude. You are carving up my brainwaves.
I mean, if you watch a certain show, he is, but...
Can't bail. I'm waxed, man, waxed.
The Silver Surfer is a tragic figure who is always weighing his choices through every angle of morality. Like when he set out to destroy the new host of the Star Brand, an energy source that grants his wielders virtually infinite power, capable of wiping out all life on Earth.
The Star Brand seems to choose a new unknowing host at random. Could be a good guy, could be the most evil person to ever exist. But despite that threat, the Surfer spared the new Star Brand once he found out she was carrying a child.
He decided to bear the weight of
As
any potential
he should.
consequences on his own shoulders, instead of squashing any and all hope that the child would use that power for good.
I get it. He's a righteous dude on a surfboard.
Exactly. And in the Surfer's case, a keen sense of morality also comes with a keen sense of his surroundings in general.
I do love that scene where he, like, just goes through his board and...
sense incoming threats, to the point where he can sense someone
It was a cool
approaching
sequence in the
even
movie.
before they've left their own home.
He can also absorb energy his opponents throw at him. Anything from psionic energy to a freaking star. The Surfer can even do it when he's on death's door. Hey, Wiz, what do you think the doormat on death's door says? Probably like, knock 'em dead, right?
What are you talking? Now, it does take a lot to get the Surfer to death's door. He's taken a blast from the
Okay,
advance,
I missed what that said. All I saw was Jean Grey.
crashed into the Big Bang and played catch with the star.
He caught it and then threw it right back at that punk Deadpool. Ha! I hope you like a big ball of gas in your face, you tool.
Reed Richards, the smartest man alive, has...
I'm
said
surprised that
Surfer's
feat never came
power
up
for
for
being in
any
all
of
the
his
galaxies.
fights.
And even after years spent drifting through the galaxy,
Or maybe it's a
he
brand new
still
one that came
built
out
strong
after.
bonds, like with the Fantastic Four, the Defenders, and with people like Dawn Greenwood.
But somehow, he always ends up alone in space, searching for answers, searching for beings that need his help, searching for something that could replace the home that he lost all those years ago.
Only to be weighed down by the guilt of his servitude and the pain of his sacrifice, which was ultimately done in vain. Cause it doesn't seem to matter what the Surfer does. Zen-La is destined for destruction. At this point, his home world has been destroyed 4 times over.
Despite it all, this
Jesus.
tragic hero still manages to take everything in stride as he surfs the stars and fights tirelessly to preserve every being's right to live.
Pause. Okay. Both these guys are fucking crazy. Alright, so... they both have incalculable speeds and at least, like, around multiversal levels of power, so... like, it's not going to be about who's stronger or faster, it's just going to come down to abilities, like a lot of Marvel vs. DC fights have been getting. Now, Martian Manhunter basically preventing, like, a race of people from, like, going into the afterlife just via his own grief. That sounds crazy, and not to mention all the other, like, mind shenanigans he's capable of. However, Silver Surfer was able to, like, basically say no to someone who was powered up by the Mind Stone, which can control all minds in the universe. So, I'm gonna go ahead and say he has the edge there. So Martian Manhunter's, like, whole main gimmick, like, isn't gonna work on him. The main thing that sounds like it's gonna be, like, a big edge for Martian Manhunter is his whole, like manipulating his molecules and his regeneration. But they mentioned how Surfer can just rearrange whatever molecules, like, he wants, whether it be his own or literally anything. So he could just do that to Martian Manhunter's body and kill him that way. Not to mention there's, like, energy absorption, which he could even do on Death's Door, so that's a big thing usually in these. So Unless I missed something, which I probably did because of the fact that I've got to talk, because this is a reaction video, and I have to make it entertaining in some way. So I probably, like, mess over everything, like, to... Well, mess over some things just to say some stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna go with Silver Surfer based on everything I was able to register. I'm gonna just put these on, shut up, and hit play. Alright, the commands are set. And run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
I sometimes don't get that quite right, but... Hey.
In all of my journeys, I have never seen anything quite like this.
I assumed your journeys would have made you rather familiar with places like this, Nordenrad. Or should I say...
Do like how he knows who he is, like, right off the bat.
Now, tell me why you have summoned me here.
Enough.
Why have you summoned me here? Bye.
What are you hiding?
Blasting the asteroids and preview ends here.
Your secrets.
Well, more accurately about here. That's like a video game. Just phasing through planets or moons.
There's no use in hiding. I can feel your presence.
Okay, that is a cool shot. This is a really cool, like, visual fight. Into the sun. He's gonna come back from this.
Nothing can best Martian might.
Your will is admirable, but will alone is not enough. Feel the pain.
Jesus Christ.
You and I possess the same knowledge.
That only one of us can survive, and we know not why.
I hope you can live with the uncertainty.
Victory comes with no certain satisfaction. I may never know why we were made to fight. If violence is ever truly justified. But perhaps there is something worthy in the battle.
Myria.
Something beyond my understanding.
That was the longest death in this show. God damn.
KO! Wiz, what the hell are we doing? Why are we forcing such beautiful souls to fight to the death?
Both the Silver Surfer and
Because it's what the
Martian
people
Manhunter were
want.
extraordinarily powerful beings. Each
Well, sometimes
with
just what
very
you guys
large
want.
power sets.
So they both had counters for almost everything they could throw at each other. They could both phase through objects, rearrange molecules, and regenerate their own bodies.
But arguably the biggest thing on the Martian Manhunter's side was his formidable telepathy. The Surfer has had his memories erased and his emotions manipulated by Galactus. So it would stand to reason that Jean could pose a mental threat to the Surfer.
But the Surfer has resisted mental attacks many times. When Psycho Man played on the Surfer's guilt and pretended to be his lost love, the Surfer saw right through it, and he escaped the Supreme Intelligence's mind when it was using the frickin' Mind Stone.
There we go.
These two could have gone toe-to-toe around the universe for a long time. But when it came down to it, the question was, who had the power to put the other down for good?
They both have some serious healing factors and have come back from basically nothing. But if ending Martian Manhunter meant destroying his every atom one by one, the Surfer has the means to make that happen thanks to the seemingly endless well of energy that is the power cosmic.
It's truly an overwhelming source of unlimited power. And outside of Galactus stripping the power away from him, the Surfer is never without it.
It's like a battery. Even if Jean could drain all of the cosmic energy, the Surfer can just recharge it. And he's used that power to destroy planets, defeat Galactus-level threats, and can accomplish anything with it.
While both of these philosophic heroes tend to hold back out of a respect for life, there's obviously no holding back here. And the depth of Silver Surfer's abilities gave him the win.
This Martian was harsh in his mellow, so the Surfer had to wave goodbye. Bodacious Cowabunga Hang 10 Ninja Turtles.
The winner is the Silver Surfer.
Congrats, Silver Surfer. I bet Chad was having a blast recording that last bit.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We have a new Death Battle releasing every 2 weeks this year. And click the join button to get new perks and extra content. Planet level members even see Death Battles before anyone else, so don't miss out.
And next time we got Cartoon Insanity. Alright, that was a pretty good episode. Man, Martian Manhunter and Silver Surfer. God, their lives are rough. But yeah, there was some good jokes in this analysis. Like, Boomstick with the whole Surfer thing was a little strange at first, but honestly, like, just... It made me laugh, so, like... Okay. Also, I forgot to go back and check what that Death's Door joke was. What did you say? If it's Jean Grey, please use back entrance. Oh my god. Honestly, so true. Also, that whole bit when Martian Manhunter like turned into that dragon, like in space, clawed that moon and just like sliced it to pieces. That was a really cool moment. I like that quite a lot. I do like that whole like ending speech with Silver Surfer and Martian Manhunter. Though I feel kind of bad because it's while Martian Manhunter is dying. And it goes on for a while. So I'm just like, this feels like a nice moment, but the whole time this guy is just just dying in the middle of it. Taught me about the characters. Fight was entertaining. That's all I can really ask for. And next time... Oh boy. From everything I can understand about it, imagine cartoon Strange vs. Fate or Scarlet Witch Zatanna. Yeah. Like, all I know, and also just throwing this out there, all I really know about My Little Pony comes from the 3 previous MOP episodes, and all I know about Bill Cipher is he's requested to fight Discord. Yeah. But I'll be sure to learn about him on Let's Discuss Death Battle. Deciding who we're siding with is going to be a thing. And I'm not promising anything, but there's a friend of mine who likes MOP. I might see if I can ask him like if he'd be up for joining me in this. I wanted to do that with Raven vs. Twilight, like, back in the day, because, well, Twilight is his favorite pony, and I thought, hey, this could be, like, a fun thing. But, yeah, recording that together didn't really work out as I planned. Like, we did record it, but the footage just wasn't great. So I just didn't do it in the end. We'll see how this goes. I'm not promising anything. If he's available, he's available. If he's not, he's not. Like, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up and go have some food. Thanks for watching, all that stuff, and here is whatever outro is next, because I really keep forgetting this. Bye.
Hello loves, Tracer here. You've just watched a video by your only mate. Subscribe, like, comment and check out his other stuff. Cheers loves!